Hi everyone, it's Koinzell here. So today let's talk about the new banners and whether or not you should pull for Kazuha, and if you have enough resources, whether you go for C1 Kazuha or get a Skyward Atlas. Sorry, not Skyward Atlas, Freedom Swan. Right. So here's the thing about the character banner. First off, I have to say the 4-star characters on this banner is really good. You have Rosaria, you have Bennett and Razor. Bennett alone improves the value of this banner by so much, right? And then you have Razor, which is always a very good DPS. He's as good as a 5-star, honestly speaking. And Rosaria is nice in terms of the crit rate buff, as well as C2 Rosaria itself is an excellent sub DPS. Excellent cryo sub DPS. And she's a great battery for Eula as well. So if you don't already have C2 Rosaria, it's actually not a bad idea to get her. I think I already have C6 Rosaria. So for me, I'm just gonna pull for Kazuha. I may or may not pull for C6 Kazuha, but minimally I'll probably pull for a C2 just for the elementary buff. But I'll talk more about C0 or C1 Kazuha versus having one copy of the Freedom Swan. Okay, so this is the character banner itself. If you are looking to get banner or Rosaria or Razor, this is actually a pretty nice banner just to pull a couple of damn pulls on if you're not keen on getting Kazuha. If you're keen on getting Kazuha, then the 4-star characters are like a great bonus, right? Now, let's talk about the weapon banner. Okay, weapon banner. I expected it to be a catalyst. I didn't expect it to be Skyward Atlas, but I think it's okay because Skyward Atlas is actually one of the strongest 5-star catalysts in the game right now. There's a couple characters that can use it as like their BIS. So it's not bad. And the good thing about this banner is that it actually has the Ally Flash, Wine and Son, and Ally Hunter, which are the newer 4-star weapons that made appearance previously, and this is the second time they are on a featured banner. So given that Freedom Swan is actually, in my opinion, one of the best damage M support weapon, I'm definitely going to pull for Freedom Swan. And getting some R5 Ally Flash and Wine and Son will be good for me. Ally Hunter, I was lucky I managed to get it to R5 in like less than a 5-star pool. Less than the PT it takes for a 5-star pool. So yeah. Anyway, Skyward Atlas is definitely a strong catalyst weapon. It's not a bad pool at all. So if you are interested in getting Freedom Swan, this is actually a decent banner, given that the 4-star weapons are also, how should I put it? It's most people would not really have these weapons. So that's one thing to consider. So I myself, I'll be happy to get a R5 Ally. I think I only have R1 Ally Flash, and I don't even have Wine and Son if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so this is actually a good banner for me as a wheel. Now let's talk about if your resources are limited, right? If your Primogems are limited, whether or not you want to pull for a Kazuha, a C0 Kazuha. If you watch my previous video on Kazuha math, you will see that I already split out the damage that C0 does, C2 does, as well as C6 for all his different talents. So remember to check that out, and that should help you in deciding whether you want a C2 or C0. I personally, I want to build him as a damage M sub DPS support. A character fulfilling both damage M support as well as sub DPS. So what do we mean by damage M support? So damage amplification support, meaning like someone like Bennett, who gives you a flat attack buff, a huge flat attack buff, or someone like Mona, whose burst gives you a percentage damage bonus. Now for Kazuha itself, he gives you elemental damage bonus based on his elemental mastery. You can get up to something like 45 or 50% if you go full EM on him. And on top of that, what Freedom Swan does, Freedom Swan, okay, you know what, let me pull up the Honey Hunter stats on Freedom Swan. Okay, so this is Freedom Swan itself, base attack 46, you have 43 EM. Most interesting effect is here, you have a bit of damage increase for the character holding the weapon. And when you trigger 2 reactions using this weapon, and that reaction can be triggered even if the character is not on the field, which means that you can cast Kazuha's burst and forget about him, or any other sword wielding characters whose burst can remain on the field or skill can remain on the field to trigger your elemental reactions. Once you have 2 of this, it gives you a 12-second buff where your normal charge and plunging attack damage is increased by 16%, attack increased by 20%. This is at R1. There's a 8% downtime since you can't do it for 20 seconds. Once the effect is triggered, you will not get any sigils for 20 seconds. So effectively it's like 8-second downtime. Or if you want to be as absolutely exact, it's like 9 seconds if I factor in the amount of time it takes to get the sigils. But here's the thing about this buff here, this Millennium Movement Song Resistance. Buffing normal, charge, and plunging attack damage, this buff goes to all party members, not just Kazuha. Which means that this makes Kazuha being able to buff people like Hu Tao, charge attacks, people like Gan Yu. Plunging attack can charge, he can even buff Xiao. So what I see in Kazuha is actually a very future-proof type of design, where he can fulfill the role of a damage and support along with this Freedom Stone weapon. And in future, even if you, let's say, you're not interested in Kazuha anymore, there's some other new character that really catches your eye, you can still give that character this sword, assuming that character has a kit that allows him or her to be like a support or damage M support. Then obviously this weapon works well. And this 16% damage, if you compare it against C2 Kazuha, C2 Kazuha gives you 200 EM. 200 EM is about 8% damage, elemental damage bonus from his A4 talent if I'm not wrong. So it's talking about 8% damage from when you go from C0 to C2 versus 16% damage. Of course, the 200 EM does other effects as well, especially the 200 EM itself, what it does, rather than just the damage app support from Kazuha. But bear in mind that to get C0 Kazuha, you need to win the 50-50 additional 2 times, and on top of that, if you factor in soft PT, it's basically 150 to 300 pulls. It's not cheap to get go from C0 to C2 Kazuha. In the amount of pulls for, say, let's say if you're really unlucky, 300 pulls, right? On average, I find that for me, on average, it's about 50 pulls for a 5-star weapon on the weapon banner. So you have 6 chances to get. We're talking about 6 chances to get a Freedom Sword versus the getting 4 5-stars and losing the 50-50 all the time, and 2 Kazuhas. So 2 North banner 5-stars and 2 Kazuhas versus 6 5-star weapons. So it's player's choice really, but I want to say that the Freedom Sword itself is a good weapon for a damage M support, and it's very future proof because at R5 this doubles, you get 32% at normal charge and plunging attack damage buff that can be given to all your main DPS characters like Hu Tao, Gan Yu, etc. and Eula, and you have increase of 40% attack, which is very nice to all these characters as well. Well, other than Hu Tao, since Hu Tao's base attack is very low, but this 40% attack is really good to people like Gan Yu and Eula. So this weapon itself, I think, is actually a very good weapon, a very good support weapon. It's easily the best of the Millennium Movement weapons in my opinion. I find that this is the best Millennium Movement weapon in terms of damage and support. So personally, yes, I will pull for this weapon, especially since I already talked about the other 4-star weapons on this banner being those that are really rare. I'm very sure most spenders don't even have it at full yet. And for the future proving part, I've already mentioned, so this is really good. Now, we all know that the weapon banner is a scan banner, right? You can get 5 to 6 copies of the other weapon, which is in this case is Skyward Atlas, before you get a Freedom Sword. Yes, that's true. But the thing is, Freedom Sword is actually not a bad weapon. Freedom Sword is actually pretty good. So if I look at Freedom Sword Skyward Atlas is actually pretty good. Skyward Atlas is nice. So if you don't already have a 5-star catalyst, it's actually not a bad idea to try your luck on this weapon banner. Of course, like I said again, right, the weapon banner is a scam banner. We all seen how bad it is for Tenha, for Peton. So yeah, you guys, I don't want to be the one asking people to pull on a scam banner, but I'll say that the weapon value banner, the value of the weapons on this banner this time around, this banner, I actually think that is worth pulling on, because Ellie Hunter, the bow Ellie Hunter, is easily one of the best. It's actually the best weapon in my opinion for Fisher, the Ellie Hunter bow. Wine and Stone is feasible on Mona if you really want to. Ellie Flash actually has a very very high attack. It's higher even than 5-star weapons, so it's not a bad idea to give to say Bennett for his attack buff if you don't care about his ER, if you don't care about getting ER from the weapon. Okay, so this, as far as it goes, this is actually a pretty good weapon banner to pull for. So if you ask me, C1 Kazuha versus R1 Freedom Swan, I would say R1 Freedom Swan, but bear in mind you have to take the risk of pulling on the weapon banner, right? But if you don't already have Skyward Atlas, you don't have Ellie Flash, or you don't have Ellie Hunter or Wine and Swan, then this is actually pretty good option. On my F2P account, on my sub account, I'll probably try to pull a couple of characters here because I like Bennett, I like Razor, I like Rosara. These are all characters that I'm using right now in my sub account. Okay, so I don't mind pulling for all these characters. I don't need Kazuha really on my F2P. I have Venti already. Yeah, so. But I'll be really keen on the weapon actually. I'll be really keen on the weapon banner, for me personally. And even on my main account, I'm gonna go for R5 Freedom Swan. Kazuha maybe just C2. If his C6 looks really good and proves to be really good, then maybe I'll get it. But yeah, this is the one that I'll go for, which is the weapon banner. So C0 Kazuha versus R1 Freedom Swan. I'll say R1 Freedom Swan, but bear in mind you need to take the risk of the scam that is the weapon banner. Alright, thanks everyone for watching. This has gone a little longer than I wanted to, but I hope the detailed explanation is helpful to you guys. I'll see you guys next video. Bye!